And if we are to start discussing about immigration in details, it means we're not going to finish it in 1 month. So I will try to say that in Italy, immigration is just only 40 years ago. And this 40 years ago, I am within the trend of this 40 years ago. As a student, as an entrepreneur, and also an Italian politician. But I will tell you that the government actually has not done much, being a very old nation that have some multicultural history, has not done much with my own personal experience. You see, between in the 70s to 90, if I'm to break it down, in the 70s to 90s, we have what they call the immigrant students, which most of these supporters of all these students comes mainly from parents, communities, and Nigerian government anyway, which now they declined completely. Then in the second phase from 90s to 2000 was what we call the immigrant workers. Not speculation workers, but immigrant workers who came with the purpose to learn, to work and go back, or to make a family here.
I'm sorry, sir. When you said immigrant students, those that came to study?
Yeah, that was the first.
Okay.
Then the second was immigrant workers from that year, as I said, 90 to 2000. Then the third one, why I said it, is down from the 2000 till today, which we call the mass immigration, or I will call it, those areas, affected areas, war-affected areas, asylum, political problem, hunger, and all that. That is what, probably I will call economic immigrants. To put it in that way, to give it a short word. So, in those activities, if you are to make a summary of all this, the government has not done much.
Compared to when you came?
No, I'm talking generally from the time I started from now. They have not done much. Yes. If you want, I continue.
Yes.
All right. All right. I will try to give you instances. In the first stage, as I was trying to say, the student immigrant, there was no support from the government. There was no law for immigration. It was not existing. Completely, we are completely shaded. We are being supported by our families, government, and that. They were not interested in what we were doing. Our integration, based on our own forces, within the four walls of the university, or the higher institution, because it's even for the university, we start integrating with the people. Because all depends is mental. Because those who were in that group have different mentalities. They were not thinking of money. They were only thinking of how to acquire the education and go back to their country and help building it. So they never participated, the Italian government never participated very well. Neither in scholarship or what. Because I have to tell you, is there a chance to give an example? During the university period, they set up, there was a type of scholarship they set for all the host students in the university. I was in the University of Venice. And I was among those who went for the competition. And I came, I think we were about 22. I came, because of Italian, I came around, I think, 21. They're almost at the last. The only immigrant that, were able to enter. But along the line, I was killed away because I wasn't a European citizen. I was killed out, so I didn't get the scholarship. So tell me, how do you say I can support the government to say they've been helpful to most of the students there? Never. Coming to the workers, the immigrant workers, just to be, put it so short. The immigrant workers, when they were coming, most of them, it was the time of the boom, of the economic boom of Italy. Italy was growing in industry, in factories, and all that. So they needed people to come and work. In Malmo, in many places. What did they do? They took these people to work without much instruction, educational instructions.
On how to go about
on how to go about it, how to become a professional on it. It wasn't given. So they go just to work and come back to eat and send some money to their families. That is not integration in my own way of thinking. It is totally wrong. They could have involved them independently on the sector you work. Place them, then make them to understand. Train them. And most of them today could have been an entrepreneur, either here or in their country. It was quite a long time now. So that is it. Presently, coming to the third phase, to make it very short, this is what they call massive immigration. This is where, all the whole thing become very complicated. The country was not prepared. Imagine a country that have the coastal line is up to 7,600 kilometers. That is why it's very easy for people to enter easily. How do you control such a class? The government do not do a very serious work to be able to prevent this, a lot of people dying in the sea. So tell me, if people are coming here and the European community, placing, there is fund for keeping them, that is not enough. You could have educated these people right away from the countries they were coming, through the embassies, through the schools. Release people to have visas to come. Because when you don't release visas for people to come, definitely they come with all different means. But if the visa is free visa to come in, by the time you come, you look at things are not working fine. You decide that you want to go back. This was exactly how it was in the 70s and the 80s. Students were coming here to make shopping and going back home.
But do you think if it is open that way, people will decide to go back with visa, with this present global economic crisis?
All right. Do you know that one? Yes, this is a very good, interesting question. Okay. What are the changes now between if they have a visa coming and coming in clandestine human trafficking, and if you have a valid document and come to a nation? Definitely you have possibility of staying because you can find a job. But when you come clandestine in this way, you don't have a job, you go into crime. So definitely it's much better having a visa coming than coming without no documents. So what I am trying to say in terms of integration is there must be a fertile ground. If there is no fertile ground, it becomes impossible. If you cannot, as my Faraday spoke before, that homes, when they came, they were living in slums and all that, because they've already devoted in themselves to get integrated. That is why they were able. Because when you gathered in a slum or you are in a ghetto, definitely you are not integrating. You are not spreading that your experience of your culture with other people.
Just cover up.
You cover up.
Yourself.
That is it. So it becomes a problem. Then, in that aspect, there are things you have to consider that. Take example, that when you are in secondary school, I don't want to say elementary because maybe parents can force you to go to school. But when you are in the secondary school, you decide to go to school. Definitely coming there, you've known your aim of coming there. You must know how to communicate with people around you, different people, different agendas, the teachers and everything about the school. Definitely you will get immune with the situation of that particular school you want, because you want to get something from the teacher, listen, learn, and get a certificate. It's the same thing. If you are coming with a very genuine motive in a nation, of course, when you arrive, the first thing, as Faraday said earlier, language. But there must be a fertile ground. That is where I'm playing the government. Because if there's no fertile ground, you just keep people and pack them and give them food and give them €5 every day. That is not integration. Because these people that left at this particular time, their motivation is to better their condition. They are not thinking another thing. So definitely you have to gradually, with the instrument, to change that mentality of coming to make money. Because money, you don't make it now easily. The debate is a bit interesting, and we've given ideas of how we felt, both those who were in opposition and those who were for the government. But the issue is this. The real problem is our country, Nigeria. This is where the problem starts, because everybody there is corrupt. That is a fact. Because if the government should work the way they're supposed to work, this is a very rich country that we don't even supposed to be here. So we start blaming first the government, the Nigerian government. It's not doing its part. So this is the problem. Why people are coming to overseas to come and do what? Why the resources are there and only very few people are just keeping percent. The other time they found somebody with 40 million, billions of dollars. What are you going to do with this money? So the problem, if I don't want us, I don't want us to generalize this topic, because if we start generalizing the topic, it becomes difficult to handle, because there are many points. That is why let's concentrate on integration. The integration is very more important. Next time we can develop other things. Because if we go to, most of the problem is from Nigeria. Because if we can cover all those areas, about education, the young lady that said about education, that is very, very interesting. If you will put in contact with me on that aspect, I don't say I can do much, but I will assist in that particular area. So, please, I am only trying to say that the Italian government has to do more to integrate people. So this is all my point, and I wish those who were here, as Faraday said and other people said, get in contact with your communities. Your communities will not come to look for you. When you get in contact with your community, your churches and all this, and you get more information. And this is a way to get integrated. You see? So this is the point. Thank you very much for all coming. I hope next occasion we might be trying to touch most of all those points people raise. Thank you very much.